Got to start on Monday with a little music. September job figures released on Friday is adding fuel to the ongoing jobs debate that's gripping the nation. Everyone's talking about the unemployment rate, which is unchanged for the third straight month. And what lies ahead for Americans is the big question. Well, Tom Crow with Crow Financial is with us to shed some light on these very dismal figures. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning.
Great to have you back.
It's great to be back.
Well, I don't want to be talking about dismal things. I want to talk about happy things. So let's ask first, what is stalling the job creation out there?
I think it's still uncertainty. We've got bills before Congress. We've got companies sitting on lots of cash, afraid to hire because they don't know what the tax situation or what kind of unemployment benefits are going to be forced on them. So I think everybody's still kind of in a holding pattern. It is a holding pattern. That's a good way to put it. And here in New Mexico, those numbers not so good. So tell everybody out there where the numbers actually do stand here in our state. From a compared to the national averages, which is still kind of persistently hanging around 9.1, 9.2%.
Yes.
For the last 6 months in New Mexico, we've actually dropped from 8.1 to preliminary for August or September of about 6.6, 6.5.
Okay.
So we're actually doing a little better than national averages.
That's good.
That tends to be the case because we have the national labs, the Air Force bases, and that takes the peaks and valleys off of our economic cycles, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, it's good to hear some good economic news, especially, I mean, we were talking about gas prices before.
Right.
We're the best city right now in the nation for gas prices. And, you know, we want to also talk about the fact that the White House actually seized on the September jobs report to push for swift passage of President Obama's $447 billion bill. And so let's talk a little bit about how that money is being spent.
Well, we don't really know yet because the bill hasn't been passed.
Okay.
And again, more uncertainty there. We've got this this congressional super committee that still has not made any recommendations.
Okay.
We have the president throwing another $447 billion into their pocket that they have to figure out how to pay for.
Right.
And you know, it's not looking real positive. I think if this morning's some of what I saw on some of the other market shows, they had some Democrat and Republican strategists on. It looks like this is going to be every bit as contentious a debate as we saw over the debt ceiling.
I mean, do you think we have the possibility to say that the president could be successful with this?
Yeah, flip a coin. You know, it could go either way. It really could.
Well, let's talk a little bit about the stock market because many of our viewers invest in the stock market. So what's the best strategy when you're dealing with a volatile stock market?
The best strategy is not to panic.
Okay.
You need to again, we've talked about this before, not let emotion make your decisions. If it does, you're guaranteed to buy high and sell low every time.
That's a great point. And it's advice that does need to be reiterated because a lot of people do make their financial choices emotionally.
And it's hard not to pay attention to when you're just getting bombarded all the time with, you know, this is good, this is bad, this is rising, this is falling. You want to try and react to that, and you really need to kind of take a step back, decide what's going on and what's best for you.
Exactly.
It'll depend on how far away from retirement you are, how young you are, how much risk you can afford to take, how much you can't.
Everyone's reality is different.
Everybody's different.
So, you know, you all have to make your own decisions based on your specific circumstances. And one of the things a lot of people are talking about are metals. I mean, gold, silver, copper, and oil even. These commodities are all very important for us to kind of recognize because a lot of people are selling things off. So can you talk a little bit about that? Yeah,
and I think we called for a little bit of a pullback in gold, and it has certainly pulled back, although this morning we've seen it come up again, and we're looking at if the solution in Europe is to print more money, then people are expecting inflation, so gold is going to see another run up. I think it was a little overheated at some point. If you have physical gold to sell, I would just caution you to be very careful about who you're going to sell it to and what kind of a commission you're going to pay. A lot of times you can be looking at 20% and even higher commissions.
So what's the ideal? What do we want to look for with gold and silver?
As little as possible, but you know, certainly I think 10% is more than fair. And if you look and you're careful, you can find that. And you know, a lot of people do have jewelry. I mean, you think about people have inherited jewelry over the years. They have gold sitting in boxes that they never touch, and we're all complaining about money. It's certainly something that's worth looking into. It's one source,
Absolutely. And, you know, we also want to talk about the fact that the world stock markets are rattled by the European debt crisis. I mean, that's obviously a big situation. So can you explain the basics that we need to understand in order to just deal with this financial panic and how it's affecting Americans right now?
I can try. Again, you know, there's an awful lot of moving parts in all this.
Don't panic is number one, right?
Don't panic is number one. And keep in mind that Greece as a whole is about 2% of the European Union and less than 0.5% of the world's GDP.
Wow.
So in terms of the grand scheme of things, Greece doesn't amount to probably as much as they're giving it credit for having driven all this.
Makes sense.
If Greece defaults, which is still a possibility,
Right.
What'll happen is, some judge in the European Central Bank or somewhere is going to say, fine, Greece has defaulted, they cannot meet their obligations, and they're going to restructure the debt. And that means everybody that owns Greek debt is going to get paid 20 or 30 or 40 or 60 cents on the dollar, whatever happens.
Okay.
And then it's just a reset, and Greece kind of starts over again. It's almost like a bankruptcy scenario for an individual.
I was going to say, that reminds me of kind of cleaning out, starting
similar.
over. So now, are there any repercussions?
More emotional, probably, than real financial. I don't think. I think I heard last week that our government doesn't have really any exposure to Greek debt. Some of our banks probably have a little bit. We're also seeing now, just over the weekend, some of the European banks and the countries are starting to fall in line, agreeing that they're going to help, that they're going to prop this up. European banks, those that are well capitalized, are starting to look at acquiring some of those and helping out those that aren't so well capitalized. So it looks like we may, at least at this point, we may have averted a crash there.
Gosh, that'd be good.
It would be nice, and I think markets are responding positively as a result.
Definitely.
Late last week and this week, but
we don't want to get our hopes up too much, right?
From 2000, January 1st, 2000 to today, the S&P 500 is still down about 22%.
Gosh,
so if you were a long-term buy-and holder, you're probably still quite nervous about what's going to happen.
No kidding. Well, we'll continue to hope for a positive upswing
Always.
in all of these issues. I mean, at least you give us some positivity.
Yeah, I think there's more good than bad out there right now.
Well, that's good to know. And of course, you can always get more information from Tom, because he has really very valuable information that really is affecting everybody in the nation, not just here in New Mexico. So let's tell our viewers where they can find you.
Yeah, you can reach me here in town, 243-2281 at Crow Financial Advisors. The website is crowfa.com. And if you have specific questions about your investments and how they might pertain to what's going on, just give me a call. It doesn't cost anything to talk to me. And also, FocusOnTheFuture.tv is a great source of free videos to download for economic common sense and financial literacy.
And also a great way for you to get your kids on track at a young age.
Absolutely.
A lot of teenagers
Very
going
important.
to college.
Start them off on the right foot.
And that's really the key, is once you're aware of it, you can start on the right foot, and then you don't have to go into debt as you continue to get older.
Yes.
It's good information as always, Tom. Thank you so much.
It's great to be here.
Good to see you, and we look forward to more valuable information from you.
Great.
Literally valuable. And coming up next, we'll tell you about a New Mexico company that wants to put a new roof over a veteran's head.